What's up, guys? So I just got done filming all of my stove videos for my stove series, the main three, and I wanted to do a little bit of a deeper dive into the whisperlite here while I was inside and talk to you about how to switch it from white gas mode into canister mode. It's a very useful skill to have, and if you go into the mountains, it's nice to be able to change this anywhere. I just wanted to do it inside because outside it was raining and miserable, and it's still like that now. So it's nice to be able to do this in good lighting with a good table right here. In general, me personally, I would prefer to just change it for one thing and then do that one thing for the entire trip. So if I wanted to use canister fuel for the whole trip, then I would change this over and do that for the whole trip. I generally leave mine in white gas mode for like the entire time. I actually had to look up how to do this again just to remind myself. But it is very useful and very nice to have the ability to actually switch the stove from one fuel type to the other. And so I don't know if I would ever actually go into the mountains with that plan, but it is kind of cool to have your giant bottles right here full of white gas, and then have like an extra 8-ounce fuel container or something like that just in case you need it. And so that is kind of a nice feature because these things can open up, they can leak or whatever, and these things will never leak, and it is just kind of like extra fuel for just in case. So let's transfer down to the table and I'll show you how it's done. Okay, so here I am on the table. I put a towel down to help protect the table a bit, and then I have this paper towel here just to help protect from soot also. So you need a few tools to get this job done, and all the tools will come with your Jetboil. I tend to keep all of mine in the bag. This is the MSR bag that comes with the whisperlite, and there's actually a tiny little bag inside. So with that, they'll give you some tools. This is pump cup oil. So that is for your pump right here, if you just to get a little bit of lubrication if need be. So that comes with pretty much every one of these stoves, XGK, Dragonfly, or whatever you get. They'll add that in for you. Most stoves will also come with this little tool type thing. This is just like your standard multi-tool. It has a bunch of different uses regarding these stoves, so it can be pretty useful. And then this stove also came with a bag that had what looks like a couple extra of the small little O-rings there that can be used in a number of parts in these stoves. And then it comes with 3 jets. So there you go, now I got the jet out. This right here is the jet, or a jet. This one we don't really use too much. Here's another one, the long one. And then the other jet is actually installed in here. When you buy these stoves, the whisperlite Universal in general, or in particular, it'll come ready to go for either isobutane or white gas. So it'll say on the box whichever one it's hooked up for. Mine actually came ready for isobutane, and I converted it over for white gas. The UC jet is the one that we use for isobutane, and then the one on the inside here, I don't know the letters yet, will be for white gas. So in order to get to that jet, you have the actual parts of the stove, right? The tube, the burner right here, the legs. You have this little cup right here. I call it the spirit cup. Other people call it different things. So I'll unscrew that. I have the little fabric type material that gets soaked with gas. So I'll just set that off to the side. And then this whole thing will pop out. The whole tube assembly. There you go. I'm being kind of gentle with it. There we go. And so yeah, the whole burner right here, I'll set that off to the side because I want the tube. Yeah, slide that off to the side. UG. Okay, so it's UG for white gas, UC for butane, and then the UK, I'm not sure what that's for. So here we can use the side of our tool, just like so. It like hooks into the jet right there. Just pop it. There we go. And once you get that initial twist, you can pull out your jet. And now this is like the revolutionary thing that MSR puts in their stoves. You see that little shaking thing? That's what we call the shaker. And so if I pop it out, there we go. So that's a shaker pin. There, I try to get it to focus. You see that little needle right there? And that shaker pin is designed to go into this little hole at the top of the jet. Just like so, only from the other way. That was a big deal when MSR first came out with that shaker jet technology, because it used to be that we'd have to carry around a whole separate tool. I actually have one here. They include it in their instruction kit, or their service kit right here. There we are. So this is what the tool used to look like. This was carried around with every white gas stove until they came out with this technology. And all it is, it's just a little pin right there. So you would literally take this whole thing apart just in order to get that little pin into that little hole. And then you scrape it around just like that in order to clear out all the carbon buildup that gets in those little holes. And you carry this whole thing around with you. So nowadays with the shaker jet, what that does is, as it's inside the jet right there, all you have to do is really shake the stove in order to get that little jet to engage and clear out that hole. So you'll see a lot of people shake the actual stove, and you can hear the jet shaking around in there. Other things is, the idea is when you're walking with the stove, like walking uphill, that pin will help clear out the jet. So it's kind of like a self-maintenance sort of thing. But sometimes that buildup will still happen, especially if you have these stoves laying on the ground and then they're sitting there for a while and you keep on using them. So sometimes you can just do something simple like take a rock and just bang on the top right here just to get that pin to work. Or you can grab the stove just by the feet, and you grab right here and shake it around, and then that jet will, or that shaker will go inside the jet and clear it out. So that's actually a very, top of the line deal. Now what we're gonna do is just put that shaker back in. I grabbed the UC jet right here, threw the shaker back in. It's kind of easier to throw it in the jet. And then I can just screw this back on like so. You tighten it down a bit. And then I'm just going to put the whole thing back together. Shouldn't be that hard. I'm just making it look harder than it needs to be. Spirit cup is on. And then that's everything we have to do as far as the stove is concerned. All right, so it's still not ready to go. We have to change out this piece now. This is for white gas. And the stove comes with an isobutane attachment right here. Also comes with this other thing to attach to the canister. But with this one, we're going to take our same tool and we go into, if I can angle it so that way you can see it. There's a screw on the side right here. And it takes 2 hands. That was more work than I thought it would be, I'm embarrassed to say. But yeah, so got the little alcohol pump off, and then you just plug in this side right here. There are a few of those extra really small O-rings that they give you extras in case you break them or something. And now that I put it back together too, when I shake it, you can hear that. That's that shaker jet in there to clear out the carbon. All right, and now we're all ready to actually light this thing up. And then you light it up just like you would a normal propane stove. Why would I even go out into the woods with this thing rigged up like this? Well, the easiest answer is if it's my only working stove, then I can use it. One thing people really love is this extra contraption that they'll give you with it. If I move the stove up a bit here, What I can do with this is, how you're supposed to make this work. There we go. You slot it in on top of the black piece right here. And you can actually flip the stove upside down. There we go. And then again, since the wire is kind of stiff, you know, so pot of water would hold that for you. But yeah, they actually give you this little stand right here that you can stick the pot in upside down. And what that means is instead of getting the vapor coming off of the fuel on the inside and going through the tube, you actually get hard gas going through the tube now, like liquid fuel going through and vaporizing right here. And that causes the stove to be burned much more hot and much more efficiently. And it can overall help you boil your water faster. Another great thing is you can actually insulate this pot better while you have your warm stove there. So if you are in much colder conditions, this stove setup is a bit easier to use canister fuel than say something like a reactor, something that uses the vapor straight off the top. So it gives you a bit more versatility with this setup. But yeah, overall, that is everything I wanted to show you. That's how you attach or how you switch a whisperlite from white gas into isobutane. And it is really, yeah, it's really overall a simple process. You only have to change out 2 parts. And it gives you a lot more safety, a lot more options. And overall lets you use this really nice stove. If you prefer canisters or if you prefer white gas, it takes it all. Thank you guys for watching the video. Another stove video. I've been making a lot of those lately and different stove type things. So if you've been liking that, then please leave a like. If you want to see me review a different type of stove that I don't own or haven't talked about yet, I'm happy to do that. Just leave a comment and see what you got for me. But I hope that you enjoyed all these different instructional videos on using these different types of stoves that are really useful in the mountains. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.